Hey, good morning, good morning. It looks gloomy out there. It's actually a nice day. It's clear, clear, clear. But we're looking into the light, so look at all these people here. Oy, 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 oy. It's chilly here. It's chilly here. Running a low-grade fever and body aches. Take care, guy. Take care. We're all waiting for the sword is hanging over our heads, everybody. Take care. Okay, kind of a standard, bog standard stream today. I've been working again on this key block. And I have a sort of a basic show and tell, nothing dramatically special or wow, just an interesting couple of pair of prints to show. But mostly it's going to be just getting my way through this key block. It is really, really cold here. No snow. You've seen the snow reports, I guess. All these people in Japan stuck in their trucks, and the same in New York and whatever. That's not this part of the country, but that's over in the what they call Yukiguni, the Japan Sea coast of Japan. We haven't had any snow here yet this year at all. Although, of course, who knows? But it is cold. It is cold. Okay. Okay, let me do a bit of this. Have a look. Poke in on the chat and see what's going on. You guys take care of yourself for a while. We'll probably need a sharpening too. I think it's okay at the moment, but we'll need to sharpen this as we go along here this morning, I think. When it's this cold, the block, of course, also is, it's basically frozen. It's whatever, 1 or 2 degrees in here this morning. And it's just like being when I was back in Ome. I'd come down to work in the mornings in winter, and if I had left any coffee in the cup the night before or something, it would be frozen in the cup. And the problem with it is the wood block. The wood block, of course, just sitting on the desk, gets absolutely frozen. So you come down, you put your hands on this block of wood, and it's, minus 0 degrees. And within minutes, your hands are just, numb. It's not that bad here. This is not Ome. This is Asakusa. And this block is not 0 degrees here this morning. But what had happened back in Ome, it got to the point where I'd have to remember if it was going to be a carving time in the morning. And before I go to bed, get the block, go downstairs and get the block, and bring it upstairs. And throw it under the bed covers at the bottom of my bed, where with your feet and whatever. And it would stay warm enough so that when it was time in the morning to get back to work, you'd take the block downstairs and it was okay. But otherwise, it's just frozen for your hands. Yeah. It's not that bad here this morning. But yeah, take the blocks to bed. I remember seeing a picture on the Adachi website. This will be, I don't know, a bunch of years ago. Maybe it's still there. I don't know. This picture of the printers working in their room, blah, 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 3 or 4 printers in a row printing. And then there's a picture of the carvers, 3 or 4 pictures of the carvers. And one picture was taken of the 2 guys. It was 2 guys working side by side, one at each bench, with the window in front of them. Carver would normally carve facing the window. I don't have one here in Asakusa, but back in Ome, my bench faces the window. Of course, so I get the natural light coming right across the block. So the Adachi picture was from the back, these 2 guys. You could just see their backs hunched over and their heads down over the block. And it was winter. And in between them, you could see the heating system. And it was a hibachi. It was just the hibachi stuck between these 2 guys with, the metal fork stuck into it. And then was obviously some coals or something in there. And that was the heating in the workshop. That would have been their old building, the building that was built in late Meiji time. It's gone now. They've rebuilt. They've got a modern building. Looking okay. Not the blades of the bed, the block, the wood block, the wood block. Paper out, yeah, the paper's out, 2 packs. I got it this morning. Alarm went off at 6 o'clock, I went straight up there. It's Suga-san. She's printing JJ number 6, the June print from the Japan Journey series. And then who else? Dei-chan. She's working on, she's doing 2 things at the same time. She's doing 2 packs, so she can do one. Sometimes if you print one color, you can't print the next color right on top of it. It just blurs things out. So she's at the moment, she's doing 2 jobs at the same time. The January print and the February print from next year's series. So whatever she worked on yesterday at home, actually she's doing both. She's working at home and back and forth. And she'll swap out, swap out, swap out. Paper is out, yes. Yeah, gloves to the fingertips cut off, like when I played flute outside in Britain. So been there, done that. I could do that here, I guess, I don't know. It's not that cold. I mean, I'm not actually complaining, just describing what it is. I'm quite happy with it like this. And back in Ome, I lived with it like that, So there was no complaint in my comments there, just... my personal feeling on this stuff, the hot summer and the cold winter, I really like having the transitions and the changes. I think if I lived in wherever it was, like, I don't know, Southern California or something, where it was like 23 degrees all year long, or whatever it is, I don't know. I don't think I like that so much. I like the idea it gets bloody cold and you're enjoying it for a while because it was so hot in the summer. And then after a while, okay, I've had enough, let's change this. And look at that, the weather changes and it comes back warm again, So I'd rather have the swing and the change each year, I think. Just at the point where it gets you can't stand it anymore, look what happens, it actually changes, you know. Is there someone going upstairs? It's a Monday morning here in Japan, so Cameron will be waking up to his computer soon. Maybe he's already started, I don't know. But I peeked in the mailbox. I was looking in over the weekend, and he's going to be happy this morning. It's died down now. His mailbox is very quiet. There's a couple of hundred letters in there, emails in there, but a couple of hundred is now, at this stage, a couple of hundred means it's very quiet. So he's going to be okay this morning. But for us now, the gift thing, it's all finished now. We're done. There's nothing else we can do about this. So we're out of that game. Maybe in some parts of the world, America, whatever, the shops and shipping and it's still going crazy. But for us, it's all over. For us, it's done. There's nothing else we can do. So for now, it's time for us to get caught up, get organized more for next year. Because January, we start again with the shipping of the first print of the new series. So. But this week for us now is a roll down, get organized, get cleaned up week. And we have no idea what to expect when the new year hits. And not just us, the whole country has no idea. Normally Asakusa is crazy, batshit, insane crazy over the new year. A third of Tokyo comes through this district in the first 3 days of the year. But clearly that's not going to happen this time around. But just what is going to happen, we don't know. The trains, they made their announcement yesterday. Normally the train system inside Tokyo runs 24 hours through December 31st, through January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The trains in Japan shut down every evening normally. There's no 24-hour transportation system here. But over the New Year period, there has been for the past few decades. But all the train companies and subways announced that they're not going to do that this year. The government is asking people, stay home. Don't come out and do this thing. If you're going to go to a temple to do your New Year's obeisance, do it later. Do it on the 10th or the 20th or in February or something. So it's quite possible that Asakusa here could really, really be Death Valley for the beginning of January. And again, no problem to us. We're not running a shop here right now. But nobody knows what to expect. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Is this a TV block? No, 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 no. This is the real thing. This is the real thing. This is why I can't, fool around too much here. I actually have to work on this. This is real work. This is not a show. I'm not running a TV program here. This is work, and you guys are being allowed to watch for a while. So, call, call, call. Are the crows busy? I can't hear so much. I got the door tightly closed, so you can hear them through the outside mic, but I hear the crows just faintly in the background. It looks so gloomy outside. It's actually a beautiful day here in Tokyo. It will be really nice. You get the sun up a little bit. It'll be a really, really nice day here today. Is there a lot of new people? Whatever. Hopefully the chat will explain what's going on. It's Monday, and as it happens, this weekend, I had a chance to really eat well this weekend. I know those of you who've been watching these streams for a while know that I've talked about this recently on weekends here, Saturday and Sunday. The Merchants Association has been pulling in food trucks during the middle of the day. There's lots and lots of restaurants here in Asakusa, but these days, the people who are visiting Asakusa are not shopping so much. They are here to stroll and to eat and to drink. And there are actually now not enough restaurants in the district to meet the demand at lunchtime. And no matter how junky or crummy or whatever the restaurant is, there are lineups now outside every restaurant on all busy days, which means basically weekends, Saturday, Sunday, or a holiday Monday. So what the Merchants Association has done is they've contracted with a bunch of food trucks. They've got some kind of web page where they say, if you run a food truck, put your application in and we'll make room for you, blah, 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 blah. So Saturdays and Sundays now, and this has been happening for the past few months, Saturdays and Sundays, there's new food trucks down on what they call Rock Broadway, not on the street in front of me here, but on the Broadway, two blocks down in front of the Don Quixote store. And there's always 6, maybe 7, 8, sometimes a few more food trucks parked along the street. And the Merchants Association has rented tables and stuff, and they put tables and chairs out. And this is to try and simply ease the pressure because there's not enough restaurants in the district. The trucks have the limit. They've been told, get out of here by 5. You can run till 5 and then get out. I've chatted with the people running the food trucks. They've been told they've got to get out by 5. It's a lunchtime, daytime deal only. And the thing there is because the regular restaurants in the district don't want the competition in the evening. It's during the day when the district is full of strollers that the imbalance is there. So the trucks have their chance. Come in the morning at 10 o'clock or so, and you got till 5 to make your fortune and then get out of town. And for me, this is real fun because I'm not going to restaurants at all these days. I'm just taking takeout. So I wander up to the food truck row there and see what I can find. And lots of them are foreign food. It's like a kebab or falafel or one guy yesterday. He's doing a chapati. Kind of a chicken chapati thing. And they're good fun. Good for me to get a bit of variety in my food and enjoy some different food. But yesterday the stuff was so good, I ordered double. I threw them in the fridge. So today I'm going to have the same thing. It's, what does he call it? Tandoori chicken naan something. It's mixed Japanese. I forget what he called it. It's mixed English and Indian and Japanese. I forget what he called it. But that's waiting in my fridge for lunch today. So bad grain. Tandoori chicken naan sando is what he called it. So, naan sando, a naan sandwich. Yeah, so. And the naan, they made it right there in the truck. It's interesting. He's got a little heater, the teppan thing with a sort of a dome shape, and they've made it fresh right there, bang, while you stood there. Very, very happy about that. It looks like your conversation is jumping all over the place. Great. Great. The various construction jobs are coming along. The one at the corner down there in the shrouded building, they are running now 24 hours a day. That's against the rules, actually. You're not supposed to do construction work past 8 o'clock, but either they have an exemption or they don't care or whatever. And it's okay. I mean, clearly they're just trying to get up and running before the New Year crowd, but and they're not doing anything dramatically noisy at night, but they're in there working. And they're running 24 hours, and they're pretty much at their deadline. They said they were going to be open by Christmas, so. But the one next door is going slow and steady. They've made no attempt to try and be open by the end of the year. Their deadline is end of January, so they're taking it easy. What have we got here? Deliveries? What's happening? A guy with an electrical plan or something. He's looking for something or other. I don't think they're anything to do with me. The people next door, of course. Looks like the electrical company. Yeah, that's where the wires come in from the electrical company. So the thing is, though, my internet connection goes right to post, right where those guys are right now, right where they're putting that ladder. That's where my internet connection comes up out of the ground. You know where we have our floating lamppost on one side? My wires are underneath there. It comes under the sidewalk, and it comes up that post, right where that guy's ladder is. And then the optical fiber comes across the front of that building. At the moment, it's just taped up there with duct tape. And when they start doing their new signage, they're going to have to really be careful not to muck with my cable. But what they're doing right now is right actually where my optical fiber cable comes out of the ground. So if all of a sudden, somewhere, you see the guy reach up like this and go like this, and this thing goes black, you know what's happened. So whatever. I do have an emergency Wi-Fi upstairs, and if that happens, I'll go and run and get that, and we'll see if we can reboot on Wi-Fi to a different internet provider. But anyway. So you see bolt cutters first and then a black screen. So we'll see. Cones. They've all been warned. I mean, these guys don't know about this, but the person who is doing the renovation next door, they understand this, and they've marked the thing with yellow tape so that it doesn't get cut easily. But who knows? All bets are off. So no idea. We'll see. Every building on a street like this usually has its own feed, and then when they build a building, they integrate it with the stuff under the sidewalks, and the fibers and phones and power and stuff comes up from underneath in new buildings. Our building is legacy. This building is as old as I am, and back in those days, it wasn't each individual building, it was each group of buildings that had the stuff. So that's what we've got here. Our wires come up out of the ground partway down the street. It's just the way it was done. If we ever, got this building ourselves and rebuilt it, tore it down and rebuilt it again, then of course at that point you wire it in properly. But for us, we can't afford to do that now. It would cost tens and tens of thousands of dollars to get our own private wire system here. We just don't need that. So, if we had really hostile neighbors who said, "Hey, sorry guy, you're not running any of your wires on the front of our building," and they would be within their rights to do that, of course. We're asking for a favor. And if the person was really hostile and said, "Screw you, I don't care," then we have to contact the construction companies, arrange for our own wiring ducts to be built down into the sidewalk. And that gets really, really, really expensive. But no problem. The people next door seem to be cool with this. So we're now on our third tenant. It was a shoe store first. They said, well, if you have to, okay. And then it changed to the kimono place. And he said, who cares? I don't care. Just run it. And then these new people who are coming in, they're locals, and they've said the same thing. Sure, no problem. We'll be careful with this. But we have no rights at all there. No rights whatsoever. Because yesterday was Sunday here in Tokyo, it was active on Yahoo Auctions. Sunday is the biggest day for the Yahoo Auction stuff. Almost as much stuff goes down on Sunday as during all of the rest of the week combined. It's become, whatever. Sunday evening is auction time, I guess. I don't know why it's happened that way, but it's very busy. And there was a ton of stuff coming up last night. A few things that I really would have liked to get, but I got almost nothing yesterday. And it's the same reason. Prices. They're going up. Consistently, it seems prices are going up for the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. And I don't know. I don't think it's because of me talking about it. Because when I chat about these auction things, it's the people like you guys overseas, and you're not mostly bidding, I believe, on Yahoo Auctions. So, but I don't know. But I was a bit sad last night. Some things I really would have liked to add to the collection, but I just couldn't justify buying them. And maybe part of it, I'm going to have to readjust my price what's normal. Everybody, certainly everybody my age has done this any number of times in his life. You go into a shop, something that and you see, you think, what? That was only 25 cents when I was a kid, and now it's like $5, whatever. And you've got that thing in your head. The prices that you remember in your mind were from a long, long, long time ago. And like I said, anybody my age has that experience any number of times during their life. What? How much? They're crazy to ask that much for it. But that's the new normal. And perhaps some of these values and prices that I have in my own mind on some of these prints are perhaps out of date. I don't know. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that much for this. And yet, if everybody else is paying that much for this, then Dave, welcome to the world. That's the new normal. So I don't know. It's a weather day, is it? I'm not sure if these are electrical people or phone people. I don't know. I can't tell. They all sort of look the same kind of hat, the same kind of outfits. They could be from the phone company, could be the electrical company. It depends what size of wires they start pulling out of the wall. What temperature is in Tokyo now? I don't know, but it's a single digit for sure. 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know. It's going to warm up though. It's a really, really, really nice day today. It's going to get very nice today. How do I decide which order to carve in? I'm not really quite sure what to say. We do the key block first, always, of course, because that sets the boundaries, and then move on to the color blocks. As far as what order on the block to carve in, it really doesn't matter. Now, the way I'm doing it here is not 100% the traditional way. The traditional guys would not clear out these pieces here. A traditional carver would have just used this knife, and he would never take the trouble to go and pick up another tool while he is working like that. He would just go over the whole thing with one knife. For those guys, it was absolutely, time is money. And what I've done already this morning, changing back and forth 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times from knife to knife, that wastes time. So they would never do that. They would cut the lines first, then switch to the wide chisel clearing, and then come back and do everything. Why don't I do it that way? There's a couple of reasons. One is it's just kind of my personality. I like to do zone by zone. I did that leaf, that flower. It's part of the control freak thing built in, I guess. I don't really know. The other thing is it is a bit dangerous the other way. When you're cutting just the lines first without doing any clearing, it's really sometimes difficult to see what's cut and what isn't cut. And when you're doing the clearing, how close to bring your chisels to the lines. So it's sort of, for me, partly also safety. By doing this, by clearing these things out, I can clearly see them. They're standing out vividly. And then when it comes time to do the next part, the next clearing, I can see what's going on. But it doesn't make any difference technically to the finished print what order these lines were carved in. Casey-san, from Wales, Taran-san, he's learning with Asuka Sensei, so I suppose he's been being told, asked, trained to do it the traditional way. Cut all the lines first, probably. Yeah, the guy in the blue, he's the, what's not security guy, he's the, what do you call it? Anytime you're working, anytime the major companies are working where it's something involved on the sidewalk or the street, they need a guardman. Maybe there's one, maybe there's two. There could be two guys, one at the other end. And if I go out there and walk by, they are going to, herd you by. Be careful, be careful. And if the guy upstairs is going to be like pulling things or dropping things, they make sure. It's super security. And this is mandated by Tokyo. No, he's a customer, what do you call it, a pedestrian guardman. He's a hired by the hour by the construction company to provide security for pedestrians walking by. And there may be two of them. There may be one at this end and one at the other end. I don't know. No, it doesn't have to be a guy. There can be women doing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a sort of a standard job for quote unquote retired guys, somebody in late 60s, 70s, whatever. new to this channel, This Type of Craft, but I have to say I hate this design. As you wish, whatever. You mean for carving, whatever. That's funny. For me, as a member, Dave wears two hats here. We wear a bunch of hats, but one hat is I'm choosing these designs for what to publish. I have to publish things that we will enjoy making, that will be useful for society, that people will like. But I can't think about it as a carver. Am I going to enjoy carving that? That's not a factor when we're picking designs, of course. Not a factor. And two, if we did that, if myself as a publisher, if I only chose designs, et cetera, that were easy to carve, whatever, that's not the point of the whole thing. I mean, at my age now, I don't need the challenge, but for our younger workers here, if I just picked easy stuff for them to do, then we wouldn't be really getting anywhere, would we? So I have to choose things that are carvable. In fact, this is a question. When Chon-san and I were talking just the other day, we were looking at the design for number 4, and we've decided what to do. In fact, he's already started on it now, but we hadn't decided what the scale was. With all of these Koryusai prints, the originals don't fit the shape that we are making these things at. It's because they're made with different kinds of paper. So we have to adapt all these things within a different XY scaling. What I mean is, it's not just a question of scaling up and down. We have to trim these things to fit inside an XY that's a different aspect ratio than the original. So the one Chon-san is going to do right now, it's a print of cherry blossoms and pheasants, and we were having trouble finding a way to scale it and trim it to fit within the aspect ratio of this series. And he had found one way by scaling it right down to a tiny thing and adding on one side to make it fit the same aspect ratio. And he was really excited about this. But as a result, everything in the picture, the cherry blossoms and the feathers of the bird and the feet and the eyes, everything would have been minuscule, way smaller than the original. And I'm like, Chon-san, it's not just you for carving. I know you can do this, but people have to print this, He's like, So I grabbed the Photoshop, grabbed the mouse, and tried the other way, scaled it up, trimmed, cut, slashed, whatever, and found what I think is a good solution for this, where we have a very attractive picture, it's much more carvable, and it's much more printable. And the people out there who get these prints would never have known about the alternate plan that he was thinking about. So it's not a question of, So how simple to make it and how difficult to make it. We have to be practical here. But if this looks boring, I'm sorry it's boring for a stream to watch, but it's not boring for me to carve. It's just, this is our job. If you don't like it, then you're in the wrong job, Whether or not it makes an interesting stream, I can't really help that. I'm sorry, We haven't gone black yet. We're still okay. Nobody's pulling wires. has 24-hour protection. I'm in the witness protection program. Is there a list of the anime that inspired the pilgrimage set? You can work out most, but some puzzle me. Just ask us, whatever. I don't know all the names of the different anime, but ask us. Ask us. Do I get eye strain from the scope? No, I'm not straining here. I'm just simply sitting here looking into a window. The eyepieces are not stuck on my face, and I'm not straining at all. I'm just looking into a window, two windows. I should make the guy some tea or coffee. That's actually not done. This is interesting, because we've had this before, years and years and years ago before. These guys are set up. They've got a certain hours to do. They've got their protection kit. They've got their gear where they get their changed, and there's coffee and stuff. So they're actually okay. And you wouldn't interfere. You wouldn't talk to them, interfere with their job. You just leave people alone. So, Peel's score was -2. What? Did you try something? I didn't see the rest of the stream here. Peel's score was -2. I didn't see how big is that piece of wood? Well, what can I say? I mean, somebody said the Peel score was -2, as in what went wrong? I know it pulled the stuff off the board, or it didn't come off, or what happened? And also, what kind of paper were you using? The Gumpy, I don't know. It was thick Gumpy, too much glue, or the glue wasn't dry. Have I ever had scammers jumping on you thinking you're a tourist? I'm not sure what you mean. You mean here in Japan, you mean? Or on the internet? Or have I had scammers jumping on me thinking I'm a tourist? People think you're a tourist all the time. Not so much now these days, not in the middle of COVID, but in a normal time, if I go into a shop, quite often people will assume you're a visitor, of course. I was able to peel some portions away and others tore or become mushy. If sounds like maybe too much glue, I'm not sure how to describe this in words. There can't be so much glue that it's soggy. It's just a question of experience. I did the same thing. Not enough glue, it comes off. Too much glue, the stuff slides around or pulls off. There's a sweet spot in the middle, and I can't describe it in words. So no. The Nigerian mafia is a big issue in Tokyo. If you go to Kabukicho or Roppongi, if you're working with dive bars and if you're trying to get laid and stuff in Roppongi, you have trouble with Nigerians. But other than that, normal people have nothing to do with those people. So, come from YouTube. Good. Thank you very much. Nice comments. Thank you. Anyway, I've got to do some work here. Got to do some work. There's the sound that tells us we're about halfway through. The garbage truck from the Korean hot dog place. It's Monday. He has a big load today. I don't see John's name in the stream there. Is he maybe not feeling well? He said at the beginning he wasn't going to be around. It's too bad. I'm sorry, John, if you're checking this later. Take care. Coughing and flu. It was funny last, that reminds me of something else. I'm sorry, not so nice, but whatever. One day last week or whatever, 10 days ago or something, we were upstairs. I'm chatting with Day-chan and a couple of the printers. He was here, Suga-san and Day-chan. We get our masks on and stuff like this, whatever. Oh, I know it was the day after I did the YouTube video, so it must have been like Tuesday or something. And I was coughing a little bit into my mask, you know, not any big deal, but a bit of a cough, and my voice was a bit hoarse. I guess I'd done too many takes on the video the day before or something. I don't know, whatever. And Day-chan sort of semi-panicking. Are you okay? You're coughing. Your voice is hoarse. What's going on? And like, you know, the assumption is we're all going to catch some virus and die and whatever. I said, Day-chan, relax. I was, you know, overused my voice a bit yesterday. And I'm okay. So she comes the next day, or 2 days later when she was here again, and she brought a little jar and gave it to me. And she put it upstairs along with a spoon. And she said, here, try some of this hot water and mix in some of this and it'll really help your sore throat and stuff like this, you know. I didn't really think I had a sore throat, but whatever. She's a nice girl, trying to be helpful, whatever. So I put it on the table there and sort of just left it alone. Yesterday afternoon, I was upstairs doing sizing, and this is where she left that thing. So I tried it. I put the kettle on, ran some hot water, put a couple of spoonfuls of this thing in a cup, and it was great. It's some kind of ginger tea or something that she has found in a shop somewhere. And it was really, really, really nice. Ginger, and you drink the hot water and so she's here today, so I've got to go upstairs and say thank you. And if I have no cough, she'll be convinced that she cured my cough because of her juice, you know. So, but it was really, really nice. Oh yeah. can I advise what paper to use to store woodblock prints? This is a tough one. This is a tough one. The best paper to store woodblock prints in is no paper. I know it sort of sounds sarcastic, I'm sorry. I know no wrapping is best for these. There's a paradox there, of course. We need to store them, otherwise they get physically bashed around. I understand this, and I do this. We've packaged every one of our prints, and the collection is packaged. They need protection from being bashed. But the protection from the aging is not being tightly held. If there's reasonable airflow, if they get aired, if air can come in and go out, that's the best protection against foxing and molding. And washi itself, being just pure mulberry fiber with basically nothing else inside it, is inherently stronger and safer and longer lasting than any other kind of paper that you were going to buy to put on it. So it's like the deal. I walk down the street here, and there's one of the trees here, the cherry tree down the street here, and it's leaning a bit. So there are 3 poles supporting it up. And each one of those poles is a dead tree. They have killed 3 trees to support this one tree. So you get where I'm going. You need good washi paper to protect your washi paper. I'm just running around in circles here, but that's the paradox of these things. This is a real trouble. This is a hugely, hugely existential problem for us. How to package our prints when all of the packaging material is less quality than the material of the print itself. And prints that were packaged X decades ago in a not so nice paper are now getting heavily foxed. So I have really no simple answer for you. I know the museums and stuff, when you go in the back room of the British Museum, like we were there a few years ago, they've got each of the old prints folded inside Japanese washi paper. The same kind of stuff that the print is made of. They're willing to pay that kind of money to do that. Then they go in portfolio boxes, and hopefully they're aired well, and once a year or so they're brought out and allowed to get fresh air in there. It's the chicken soup joke, there's the same paradox in all these different fields. The little old lady, she's got 2 chickens, and the original joke is supposed to be like a Jewish grandmother or something when they used to tell jokes that way, but now it's anybody's grandmother. She's got these 2 chickens, and anytime anybody in the family gets sick, it's chicken soup. But so one of these chickens gets sick, and what does she do? Asks the other one to give it chicken soup to the other one. It's the same silly paradox for all these things. The best paper to preserve our prints in is the same paper that the print was made of. More trucks. What's this? I don't recognize the truck. Is that the Yoshibori delivery? I don't know. Lots of action out there today. Will it surely mold and fox in open plastic wrapping? I'm not sure what you're saying. Open plastic wrapping. I know the problem with foxing and mold is when there's no airflow. When it sits there, as far as I understand it, I'm not the world's greatest expert on this. I'm just passing on what I've sort of come to understand about this. When a print like ours is held tightly with no chance for air exchange or airflow, this is the dangerous place for foxing. Part of the problem also is if there's inherently bad materials pressed against it, if the packaging is a heavily acidic paper, something like this. We keep our prints upstairs in those, the clear files. I've got one here I'll be showing you today. We keep them in these files, and the print is on what is purportedly an acid-free paper in the back, and then it's the plastic on the front. And I don't think there's any impact on the paper from the plastic. There can be, what do you call it? I don't know, static electricity. You don't put a print in there if it's got mica powder on the top, because the plastic can pull the mica off. 6 conversations going on at the same time. I'm still not used to this kind of stuff, you know. How's our time? 9:06. We got a bit of time left. Looks like our first big peony is almost done. Good, we'll be able to finish this flower today. What is it, 9:09? We're okay. We can get most of this flower killed here today. Good. I said it was going to sharpen, but actually this is hanging in very nicely, you know, this blade. It's doing well. Exchange for text-to-speech messages. This way you can interact with chat without needing to look at the screen. You mean, I could do that now. I could get a screen reader. I could have something read this chat into my earphones, you mean, and then I'm okay, but I'm not sure actually if I really want to do that. If I were a chat member, reading the chat would be the main thing I was doing. If I'm a carver, I'm not supposed to be doing this, So I'm not sure I really want to be reading all the chat in real time, Not to sound unfriendly about it, but I'm supposed to be working here, The idea about this chat originally was, during a normal working time for me, we would turn a camera on so that people could see what was going on. It wasn't to run an actual program teaching, here we are, here we're going to carve, and I'll tell you what I'm doing and explain. It wasn't like supposed to be lessons and stuff like this. It was just simply to let people have a window into what goes on here, And the fact that I can interact at some point, partially at least, with the chat is kind of a bonus to the thing. It's certainly not the main idea, actually. Those of you who have been with us for, more than a year or so, back some time ago, there used to be two of us here. Cameron would come in at about 8:30 or so and sit in on the chat, and he would be able to read it and take part, and then he would toss over to me whatever I needed to know to be able to, answer questions and take part. And he's not here these days, so it can't be helped. But a technological solution to let me hear everything that every one of you said during this stream, that's not going to help me a lot here, I think. So. Also, too, speaking about chats and stuff and keeping track of what's going on, when that visitor was here, was it last week? Last Monday, I guess, right? It's a week ago that visitor was here. That gentleman, a retired gentleman who's doing carving and printing, a school teacher. He had not known anything about Twitch before he came, but during the course of the stream, he was introduced to the concept, and he was following the stream on his own phone while he was here. And then after the stream was over, he and I chatted, and he was much more impressed by that part of it than by the work. He had come here to get a chance to just watch carving for a few minutes. That's what he thought he came for. It turned out he learned much more about social media. He's probably watching this morning, actually. But while he was here, after we finished our normal stream, I was trying to show him what Twitch is and what it's about, as far as I understood it. So I just took my own computer here. We went to the Twitch home page, or whatever it's called, the Twitch front page, and we clicked into a couple of streams, game streams and stuff, so I could show him, look, this is the main point of this platform originally, but now it's getting wider and people are doing stuff like carving on this. And as we were looking at one of those gaming streams, the chat was at the side of the window, and you know what they look like. The chat just simply was a moving scroll. It was a thing that just moved at the side of the screen, going up, 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 up. There's like 10,000 people talking there. And he said, how do you read that? And I'm like, I don't know. How do they read that? What's the point of typing in chat streams like that when it just scrolls by so quickly nobody can see it? He says, why do they do that? And I'm like, look, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. All I know is that in our own chat, there's so few people here that it becomes manageable. It becomes an actual real conversation. And he was quite stunned by that, the other ones. And I am too. I don't actually understand this at all, In those game streams where the creator has no chance to speak to anybody individually, I myself don't kind of get the point of it, and I was at a loss to explain to him, you know. How's our time? How's our time? Oh, sorry. Look at this. Not paying attention. Look at this SNTST Vivid's going crazy. Highlight of your day. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I know the audio alert thing is really a problem right now because I have real trouble with getting audio alerts on this computer now. Have you heard any great waves today? No, you haven't heard any. I got Bluetooth on. If I turn Bluetooth off, it's been connecting to my speaker upstairs. In the evenings, I listen to music while I'm working on the computer. I was doing video editing last night, a video script preparing last night, and I had the Bluetooth connected, and it's still connecting. So maybe there's been great waves or something, and they play on the speaker upstairs. Okay, now we have a show and tell today here. It's a comparison. It's an A and B comparison. And it's a little bit big. I was trying to decide, I need a better setup for the larger show and tells, you know. It's a triptych, a 3-print triptych, and it's large. So we're going to have to look at these one by one by one by one by one. See, the sky is coming out. It's a nice day. Look, just show for a moment here. It is going to be a beautiful day in Tokyo. This is winter. This is Tokyo winter weather. None of that snow that you saw in the news reports. This is a typical Tokyo winter day. Oh, they're taking down the shroud. The new building across the street there. They've done it. They're going to be open by Christmas. Anyway, to work. Anybody read it? Oh, John's not here. Too bad. Karen, can you read this? Hari, needle, shigoto. Shigoto. Hari shigoto, needlework. It's a famous set of 3 prints. A famous set of 3 prints designed by Utamaro, and this is a reproduction set from Takamizawa. And this will be, this will be just at the end of Takamizawa, you know. This is maybe 1980s, somewhere around there, 1980s. And when I saw this, I wasn't sure, because the 1980s level of Takamizawa is really nothing to write home about. But these looked good. These looked good. And when I got them, they turned out they're actually okay. What we've got here, are they going to come out so we can look at them side by side? No, they're glued in. Oh, they're glued in. It's a triptych from Utamaro, needlework, and these are really, really, really nice prints. This yellow, I don't know how we can do this on screen. This yellow, the yellow that they've used here is a kind of yellow pigment that we can't get anymore. And these guys must have had some left over still. You can tell the tone of it. It looks a bit like, what do they call the yellow in the West? It's called Naples yellow. It's like if you took a lemon yellow and you put a little tiny bit of gray inside it, you get what in the West we call Naples yellow. And here in Japan, it's a symptom of the pigment called a sekio. It's a kind of an earth tone. And the actual composition of the pigment, it's 50% sulfur powder and 50% arsenic. And we can't buy it anymore. For obvious reasons, we can't buy it anymore. But they were still available when these guys had this. It looks like lemon meringue, maybe, yeah, whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to think about it. Naples yellow is the technical term, and the color term in the West. And it's really, really nice. I imagine if I tried to lick it and whatever, it might not be the best thing to do, but anyway, it is. It's 50% sulfur, 50% arsenic. And those of you who get our prints these days, don't sweat it, because we do not use it in our prints. I can't buy any, of course. We actually have a bag of it, but don't tell anybody. But we don't use it. It's just for historical reasons. And we keep the bag for research, historical reasons. It's triptych by Takamizawa. And I have also the same triptych from the competing publisher Yu-Yu-Do. And I thought it might be fun. Let's have a look at some of these, if we can see many great differences between the two. I do not have enough room here to keep all this stuff ready. They've kept their yellow a bit lighter. Transparency. These are two completely different carvings, not the same blocks at all. Two publishers attacking the same old design, carving a new set of blocks for it. And if you looked at it microscopically, actually you can probably see already, the dots are different. Each carver has had his own taste and touch on them. Takamizawa has got the pigments a bit deeper and richer. Look at this. There's actually lines there, but the Yu-Yu-Do one is much clearer and more vivid. In fact, this is hands down. Look at this, very, very nice. Yu-Yu-Do is much nicer. All the carving is clear. They've kept the key block printed quite nicely. I need a cameraman here to help me zoom in on these things. Blurred black, clean, sharp lines. But it's plus minus, you know. The circle patterns here are roughly done. The circles have been cut too large. The Takamizawa one has a much tastier pattern. This isn't clearly one is better than the other. Interesting. I was thinking whatever, we'd keep one of these and put the other one in the flea market, but I think I'll keep them both. One reason I picked this one to show today, second one, if we skip ahead to the third one, oh, look at this, dramatically different. Wow. These guys have worked from the same original master copy, the one in the Tokyo National Museum. And they've ended up being quite different. I can't reach the camera here. Look at the way they've approached the kimono in the background. Much more vivid printing. These guys have kept it delicate and soft. Much nicer carving on this side, delicate carving. This one's printed quite too heavy. Part of the collection website that we're building right now, struggling is the wrong word. I'm still trying to decide what to do with the website when we have more than one copy of the print like this. Someone wrote me an email about this the other day. Dave, there's this JavaScript thing where you show two pictures and you slide, and it shows A and shows B, and the two pictures copy over each other one by a time. And I get that, but our problem is we've got sometimes many more than two. We've got 3 or 4 or 5 editions of the same print. The Tokaido set, we have 11 now, Hagaki-sized Tokaidos. So how do you do a JavaScript scroll across when there's 11 different prints in the stack? I don't know, it gets complicated. And do we really need to compare 11 prints side by side? So I'm not sure still how to do this. But it's a really interesting part of our job. What I'm doing right now, I'm copying this Koryusai image, and I'm making David's version of it. Now, we are not trying to do an actual authentic reproduction. We're making an adaptation. But these guys, even though they were trying to do actual reproductions, look how different Workshop A and Workshop B. I mean, somebody pointed out here on the stream, even they changed the color on the pot. Whether it was to save blocks, my quick guess is that actually they're just trying to save blocks. They're figuring out how to do all the block sets. Where's the teapot? It doesn't fit if we need a blue block. Let's just make it red. Nobody will notice. It won't make any difference. I don't know the answer to the question. There's a lot of color changes here. This is blue as opposed to black on this one. And these are published at about exactly the same time. These would have been in the market at the same time. This is, as far as I can guess, early 1980s. It was the end of the line for Takamizawa. And actually, too, for Yu Udo, 1980s were strong for them, but it was their last strong decade. That was their last strong decade. They then started to fade out in the 1990s, and now there's just a shell left. Takamizawa is completely gone. All that's left now, really, there's just pretty much Adachi left in the reproduction business. Watanabe is doing some. That's pretty much the end of it now. So any questions, Emil? Hope you find time to answer. Brief zoom on the hair. You mean the lady? This is the Takamizawa copy. This is not to die for. This is nice, it's okay, but it's not to die for. Give me a Takamizawa pre-war and I'll get excited and jump up and down in my seat. This is not to die for. It's the bare minimum. It's a single block, and the problem of being able to get good black on the hair without spoiling the face. How did the other one do it? How did you? Oh, this is even worse. Look at this. They've got the hair nicer. The hair is richer and blacker, but at the cost of losing the eyes. The printer has pressed too hard and he's totally lost the eye. This is blacked out. Totally unacceptable. If that had been in our workshop, then you can't send a print like that with a black eye. But this one's also nothing to write home about. So this is the end, this is the end of it. This is the 1980s here, is the end of the ukiyo-e tradition, either the reproduction workers here in Tokyo. This was the end of it. And the challenge for me now is to try and find a way to show some of these prints, to show a Taisho era good one, a nice early Showa, and then the late Showa. There's basically three eras of this stuff. Can I get the same yellow by using different pigments? Yeah, we can imitate it. No problem, of course. I would get some basic lemon yellow, put a bit of gray in it. We get very, very close with that way. Maybe a touch of red, a touch of red, put the Benny inside. And it's possible, actually, that that's what they've done here. No, I think it's the real thing. You'd need a spectroscope to figure out, but I think it's the real thing. I'll spend some time with this. Have a look at this. These are nice. These are nice. It's too bad also. Well, how do you display these? There are 3 prints, and the design, of course, the design continues from one to the other. It's actually a single picture. But the clumsiness is, how on earth do you display this? What do you do? And especially, Takamizawa glued them into those folders, and you can't take them out of the folders without destroying the glue. So what do? You look at print 1, print 2, and print 3 and turn the page? I really don't get it. There's our image. You can see it joins. We've got areas that go across, and clearly the 3 women are in the same room doing the thing together. They're mixed. This is Yu Do, and that's Takamizawa. That's why the colors don't match. Anyway, there we have. Okay. What's the situation here? Today is Monday. It's now 3 days off. A couple of things for you. I will be back on Thursday. There will be a very, very interesting show and tell. Some new stuff came in that I'm really, really excited about. I'm looking forward to showing you. This one I'm not so excited about this day, so I think it's nice to look at, but not so exciting for me. And the other thing is, there's another video coming. This had not been part of the plan, but as part of the year-end cleaning up and preparation, something came up, and I prepared. The script is pretty much finished. Script as it is, the chat is pretty much finished, and there may be another video coming, just around Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, a new video for us. Wasn't very expected, but I think we'll have one for you. So we'll be back here. Someone's saying, "Oh, travel to Tokyo in 3 months. The shop will be open by then." No, almost certainly the shop will not be open in 3 months. The world is coming to an end in the next 3 months. I've got no idea what to say. The virus is growing. Things are getting worse everywhere. I have no plans to open the shop. If you're in Tokyo, drop me an email, and maybe you can drop by and say hello and come in, but the shop itself will almost certainly not be actually open. But yeah, if you're here, if you get in, contact us. But I don't think you're going to be able to get into Japan. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Things are getting worse real soon. Getting worse. Okay, enough of that. I'll see you Thursday morning with more carving and another show and tell. I'll have an enjoyable time reading the chat at lunchtime. Thanks very much for dropping in, and see you next time. And if John's still here, if John comes back, John, best wishes, hang in there, guy, and please take care. Don't take any chances with this thing. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.